We're declaring them on the nations, and we're setting up that standard, right? And the nations are also going to be setting up that standard, which is what their missiles, all right? Their missiles are going to be what set up through what different parts of the earth, okay? Publish and shut up a standard. Publish, conceal thou not, right? Don't conceal it. Say Babylon is taken. Bel is confounded, all right? Babylon is taken. Bel is confounded, all right? Bel is an idol, right? That kings of the Babylonians, right? That Nebuchadnezzar was what worshipping. And when Cyrus took over, the Medo Persians took over, they were worshipping the idol as well, right? And it says, Merodach is broken in pieces. These are idols, false gods. So idols are confounded. Her images are broken in pieces, right? And that's what's going to happen. And we can go to Bel and the dragon as well, right? We might as well go to that. The story of Bel and the dragon, which a lot of these people worship. Right on it. Let's go to Bel and the dragon. Right, let's go to, first chapter. And King Astyages, right, was gathered to his fathers. And Cyrus, right, of Persia received his kingdom, right? And Daniel conversed, right? And Daniel conversed, baby, just a minute. A dog nearly just got run over, right? And Daniel, okay, conversed with the king and was honored above all his friends. So Daniel was chopping it up with King Cyrus. Remember, Daniel was favored. You had some prophets in captivity, they were favored by these kings and princes for their wisdom, because Yahweh was dealing with them, right? And it says, and was honored above all his friends. Now the Babylonians had an idol. See, it was the idol of what? Babylon, right? Called Baal, right? And it says, and they were spent upon him every day 12 great measures of fine flour and 40 sheep and 6 vessels of wine, right? That's a lot, right? And it says, and the king, right, worshipped it, King Cyrus, and went daily to adore it, right? So he was constantly worshipping this idol every day. But Daniel worshipped his own power, right? And the king said unto him, why dost not thou worship Baal? So King Cyrus was looking at Daniel. Everybody's worshipping Baal except from Daniel, right? So he was asked, why don't you worship him, my idol? Okay. And it says, very just a minute, he answered and said, because I may not worship idols made with hands, right? And it says, but the living power who created the heaven and the earth. That was a brilliant answer. Okay, not worshipping these things made with the hands. All right, but the heavens that made heaven and earth, that's what I'm going to worship. That's who I'm going to worship, right? And have sovereignty over all flesh, power, dominion over all flesh, in other words, right? Then said the king unto him, thinkest thou that not thou Baal is a living power, right? So what, don't you think he's real? Okay. Seest thou not how much he eateth and drinketh every day? Right? Then Daniel smiled and said, O king, be not deceived, for this is but clay and brass without. So Daniel was just letting him know, look, it's nothing but just the elements of the earth. Clay and brass. Right? It's not a true living power. Who did never eat anything or drink anything. Alright? So the king was rough. The king, he got angry after Daniel said that. the relationship, it wasn't quite the same. Okay. And called for his priests. I said unto them, if ye tell me not who this is, where the vow is expensive, you shall die. Because what? There was the food being ate that the king actually thought the idol ate it. But it was people sneaking into the temple and it devouring these gifts offering for the idols. Right? But if you can certify me that Bel devoureth them, eat them, right? And Daniel shall die, for he hath spoken blasphemy against Bel. Alright? And it says, and Daniel said unto the king, right? Let it be according to thy word. Right? So Daniel said, alright, let's go. Now the priests of Baal, right, were 70 and 10, 70 and 10, how much is that? 70. Right? That's 70. And they're beside their wives and children. And the king went with Daniel into the temple of Baal. Right? So Baal's priest said, lo, we go out. But lo, O king, set on the meat and make ready the wine. Right? And shut the door. Fast and seal it with the old signet. In other words, lock the door, so make sure nobody comes in. Right? And tomorrow when thou comest in, if thou findest not that Bel hath eaten, upon we shall suffer death, or else Daniel but speaketh falsely against us. So there was like a bet made. Right? And they little regarded it, for under the table they made privy entrance, whereby they entered into continually. Right? So there was a secret entrance dug in to get to this temple to eat the offerings. Right? Whereby they entered in continually and consumed those things. So when they were gone forth and king set meats before Bel, now Daniel had commanded his servants to bring ashes. And those that were strewed, they bring ashes. Right? And those that strewed, right, throughout all the temple in the presence of the king alone. Then went they out and shut the door and sealed it with the king's signet and so departed. Right? Now in the night came the priests with their wives and children, as they won't want to do, and did eat and drink up all. So they were eating and drinking at night time. Right? Yeah, the locks were still on the doors, but they what? They found another way to get in. Right? And it said, and they ate and they drank it all up. Right? And in the morning betime the king arose and Daniel with him. And the king said, Daniel, are the seals whole? And he said, yeah, O king, they be whole, they're tight. Nobody can undo that lock. Excuse me. Right? And as soon as he had opened the door, the king looked upon the table and cried with a loud voice, great art thou, O Bel, because nothing, he thought what? The idols devoured it. And with thee is no deceit at all. Then laughed Daniel and held the king. And held the king that he should not go in. Alright? And said, behold now the pavement and the mark, well, whose footsteps are these? So there was pavement to the entrance into this temple. And footsteps. And he said, whose marks are these? Look. Yeah, okay. And the king said, alright, I see footsteps of men and women and children. Then the king was angry, right? And took the priests, right? And took the priests with their wives and children, alright? And it says, who showed him the privy doors where they came in and consumed things as such were upon the table, right? So Daniel was showing them, look, that's where they came in. That was the entrance where they came in, a secret entrance, and they devoured everything that was left there. Therefore, the king slew them, killed them. Right? This is a very serious thing. Excuse me just a minute. So once he heard that, remember, because there was a bet placed, okay, with Daniel. And the king slew them. Alright? And it says, and delivered Bel into Daniel's power and destroyed him. Alright? And his temple. So after this, Daniel was given permission to destroy the temple of Baal. Right? He was given that permission. Alright? And it says, and in that time, same place where there was a great dragon, which they were of Babylon worshipped. Alright? And the same dragon is worshipped again today. And the king said unto Daniel, and they worship it in, I think it's China or Japan, they worship the dragon. Right? And other places as well. And it says, and the king said unto Daniel, will thou also say that this is of brass? Lo, he liveth, he eateth and drinketh. Thou cannot say, but he is a living power. Right? Therefore, worship him. Okay? Then said Daniel unto the king, I will worship the Lord my power. Yahweh Yahushua, my power. That's who we're going to worship. Right? We're going to worship our power. And our power only. Alright? For he is a living power. Right? Our power is the true living power. And that's who we're going to worship. Okay? But give me leave. Let me leave and worship my power. O king, and I shall slay this dragon. Right? Without sword or staff, the king said, I give thee leave. Then Daniel took pitch and fat. Pitch is like tar. Right? And fat. Right? Animal fat, I'm guessing. And hair. A hair burns very easily. And did sieve them together and made lumps thereof. Which he put in the dragon's mouth, and so the dragon burst asunder. It erupted. Right? And it says, and Daniel said, lo, these are gods ye worship. Right? When they of Babylon heard that, they took great indignation and conspired against the king, saying, the king has also become a Jew. The people were worried. The Medes, the Medes were worried that King Cyrus has been converted. Here it is. Daniel won the bet, and King Cyrus is saying, go on, you could burn up, you could destroy the temple. You could destroy the idols. Alright? And it says, and he have destroyed Bel. And he have strained the dragon and put the priest to death. So they came to the king and said, deliver us unto Daniel. So now they were getting mad at Daniel. Like Daniel was the cause of this. Alright? Or else we would destroy thee and thine house. So they were threatening the King Cyrus now, saying, look, you give us over Daniel or we're going to destroy you and your house. Now when the king saw, baby, I just want to light up some more incense. Right, check how much time I got as well. Yeah, you know, I've got plenty of more time, but the battery, because I've got other videos uploaded, it may not be as long as usual. Okay, uploading this video, excuse me just a minute. Right? So yes, they felt away at Daniel, okay, and him worshipping in his own power. They felt away about that, all right? And they felt away about Cyrus, King Cyrus, also saying to Daniel he can what? Burn the idol, okay? So let's continue. And it says, now when, okay, the king saw that they pressed him sore, being constrained, and delivered Daniel unto him, right? Unto them, okay? Who cast him into the lion's den. And yes, that's when Daniel was, yes, cast into that lion's den, all right? Where he was 6 days, okay? In the den, okay? With 7 lions. And they had given them every day 2 carcasses, 2 sheep, which they were not given to them. To the intent that they might devour Daniel, that they may eat him up. Right? So they was purposely not fed, so when Daniel would be put in there, they eat him up straight away. Right? Now there was in Judea a prophet called Habakkuk. Yes, the prophet Habakkuk that's written within the scriptures. Right? Who made pottage and had broken bread in a bowl. that was going in the field to bring it to the reapers. The reapers were those that were working in his fields. Alright? But the angel of the Lord said unto Habakkuk, go carry the dinner that thou hast into Babylon unto Daniel, who is in the lion's den. So, in this time of Jacob's trouble, bro, you never know what brother that Yahushua could send to you. You never know. You never know what brother that Yahushua could send to you in a time of distraught, in a time of mourning, in a time of need. You never know. Right? But these things are going to happen in this time. Alright? And it says, and Habakkuk said, Lord, I never saw Babylon, neither do I know where the den is. Habakkuk had no knowledge of Babylon, his whereabouts or nothing. Neither did he know where the den was. So Habakkuk, how am I going to get there? Right? When the angel of the Lord Yahushua took him by the crown, took him by his hair. Right? He may have had an afro, it doesn't tell us. Probably did have an afro. Took him by his hair. Right? Took him by the crown, okay, and bare him by the hair of his head, and through the vehemency, grabbed him rough. The angels are rough. Through the vehemency of his spirit, set him in Babylon over the den. So the angel that rushed out, right, grab him by his hair. This shows you also the angels are, yes, very, very, very rough. Right? Angel took him by his head, no man. Okay. And said, as Habakkuk cried, Habakkuk was crying, that must have been painful. Right? Cried saying, oh Daniel. Right? Oh Daniel. Daniel, take the dinner which the Most High have sent unto thee. Right? Hurry up and take it. I need to get back to where I am. Right? But the Most High have said unto thee, O Daniel, thou hast remembered me. Okay? And Daniel said, thou hast remembered me. So